I still remember staring at my phone that night, reading the words that had become almost routine by now. Can't make it tonight. Something came up. 6 times. This was the 6th time this month she'd canceled on me, and like clockwork I typed back the same lifeless response I always did. No problem at all. But this time, something inside me shifted. Maybe it was because I was sitting alone at the restaurant I'd booked weeks ago for our anniversary. Or maybe it was because I'd finally had enough of pretending everything was fine. Either way, I opened Find My iPhone, and there she was, not at work, not at her mom's house, not home in bed with a migraine. Jessica was at Riverside Apartments, her ex's building. I sat there for what felt like an eternity, just watching that little blue dot pulse on the screen, completely still, mocking me from across town. The waiter came by and asked if I was ready to order. I looked up at him, at the empty seat across from me, at the dim candlelight flickering between us like a sad joke. "Yeah," I said, my voice hollow. "Just the check for the wine, please." I didn't wait around. I paid, walked out into the cool night air and drove. My mind was racing, but my hands were steady. And then I saw it. A flower shop, still lit up, still open. I pulled over without thinking, like my body knew what to do before my brain caught up. Inside, the florist looked up at me with tired eyes. I told her I needed a bouquet delivered tonight. She hesitated. "Tonight? That's rush delivery, it'll be extra." I didn't care. "That's fine," I said, "and I need a card attached, a specific message." I watched her grab a pen, and I spoke slowly, deliberately, every word landing like a nail in a coffin I didn't even know I was building. "Jessica, since you keep having something come up, I figured I'd save you the trouble of making excuses. We're done. Enjoy your evening with Brandon. P.S. Your location sharing is still on. Might want to fix that. Grant." The florist's eyebrow lifted just slightly, but she wrote it all down. I paid extra for delivery confirmation and a photo of the recipient. Then I went home and did what I should have done weeks ago. I started putting the pieces together. Her phone was always face down lately. Always. She'd been working late constantly, but her paychecks didn't show any overtime. I remembered her complaining about that once, casually, like it was no big deal. She didn't want to make plans anymore, always insisting we play it by ear. I thought she was just stressed. Turns out she was just busy. About 40 minutes later, my phone lit up like a fireworks show. Jessica calling. Declined, Jessica calling, declined, Jessica calling, declined. Then the texts started rolling in. "Grant, please answer. It's not what you think. The flowers were delivered to the wrong place. I'm at my mom's. Please, just let me explain." I turned off my read receipts and lay down in bed, staring at the ceiling, thinking about how I'd been planning to ask her to move in next month. I'd already started looking at bigger apartments. Thank God for Find My iPhone, I guess. The next morning, I checked her location again. She was back at her apartment. Then, out of morbid curiosity, I checked Brandon's Instagram. We weren't friends, but his profile was public, and there it was. A new story posted at 2 a.m. A photo of red roses in a vase. No caption, just a thinking emoji, the absolute audacity of this guy. Around 10 a.m., Jessica showed up at my door. I didn't answer. I just watched through my doorbell camera as she stood there, knocking, calling my name, her eyes red and swollen, mascara streaked down her face. She looked like she hadn't slept. "Grant, I know you're in there, your car's here, please just give me 5 minutes." I stayed silent. Eventually, she left. Then her friends started texting me. Megan wrote, "What did you do to Jessica? She's hysterical." Vanessa chimed in. "Seriously, Flowers with a breakup note. That's cold. Another one said, Jessica made a mistake, but she loves you. Don't throw away something good over a misunderstanding. A misunderstanding, that's what they were calling it. I replied to Vanessa because she seemed like the most reasonable of the bunch. Misunderstanding? She was at her ex's apartment when she was supposed to be at our anniversary dinner. Her location showed her there for 3 hours. What exactly am I misunderstanding? Vanessa replied, she was just talking to him. He's been going through stuff. I almost laughed. Ah, yes. The kind of talking that requires canceling 6 dates in a month. Got it. She didn't respond after that. Jessica ramped up her efforts over the next few days. She started showing up at my work. Security wouldn't let her in because you need a badge, but she camped out in the lobby for 4 hours. My co-workers were absolutely eating this up, watching through the glass doors as she sat there with her coffee and puffy eyes. My colleague Rob leaned over and said, Dude, just talk to her. She looks destroyed. I didn't even look up. She looked pretty comfortable at Brandon's place 2 nights ago. He tried again. Maybe there's an explanation. What explanation makes this okay, Rob? Please, I'm dying to hear it. He didn't have one. Finally, I went down at lunch, mainly because my boss was starting to give me looks about the distraction in our lobby. The second Jessica saw me, she jumped up like I was her lifeline. Grant, thank God, please, just listen. I crossed my arms. You have 2 minutes, and we're talking right here, in public. She glanced around nervously at all the people pretending not to watch. Can we at least go outside? 1 minute 50 seconds. She took a shaky breath. Okay, Brandon texted me last month. His dad died. He was struggling. He needed someone to talk to. I blinked. So, talk on the phone. He was really messed up, Grant. Drinking. Talking about doing something stupid. So, call 911, call his mom. Call literally anyone except the girlfriend who swore she had no contact with him. I was trying to help. By canceling 6 dates? By lying about where you were? By sneaking around? I knew you'd react like this. I actually laughed out loud. You knew I'd react badly to you lying and sneaking around with your ex, so you lied and snuck around with your ex. Brilliant logic, Jess. It wasn't like that. Nothing happened. I shook my head. Your location was at his apartment for 3 hours on our anniversary. We were just talking. Here's the thing, I said, my voice colder than I intended. I don't care if you were talking, playing Scrabble, or conducting a seance to speak to his dead father. You lied, 6 times minimum. You chose him over us, over and over. We're done. Grant, please. Time's up. I walked back inside. She stood there for another hour before security finally asked her to leave. That evening, my phone rang. Brandon. The sheer audacity of this man. Bro, you need to chill, he started. Bro, we're not bros. You're the guy sneaking around with my girlfriend. Ex-girlfriend, he corrected smugly. And I wasn't sneaking. Jessica was being a good friend. A good friend who lies to her boyfriend to hang out with her ex? You got an interesting definition of friendship. Look, man, Jessica and I have history. Sometimes people need closure. Closure takes 6 secret meetings. What are you closing? A mortgage. You're being a dick. She chose you, didn't she? No, Brandon. She chose you 6 times this month. I just made it official. Whatever, man. Your loss. I smiled to myself. Funny thing about that, I can see her location right now. Guess where she is? Silence. That's right, your apartment again. Tell me more about how she chose me. He hung up. The entitlement escalated dramatically over the next few days. Jessica's mom, Diane, called me. Now, I'd always liked Diane. I thought she was reasonable. I was wrong. Grant, sweetheart, Jessica explained everything. This is all a big misunderstanding. I sighed. Diane, I respect you. But there's no misunderstanding. She lied multiple times. She was trying to help that boy. You know Jessica has a big heart. She has such a big heart she forgot about our anniversary to comfort her ex? People make mistakes. You're going to throw away your whole future over this? What future? I asked. One where she runs to Brandon every time he has a problem? Where I'm constantly wondering if something came up means she's with him? That future? You're being cruel. That stunt with the flowers was humiliating. Humiliating, I said slowly. Was sitting alone at an anniversary dinner while she was at another man's apartment. He's going through a loss. His father died. I paused. 5 years ago, Diane, I Googled the obituary. So either Brandon's lying to Jessica or Jessica's lying to you. Long silence. That can't be right. Joseph Tillman died in August 2019. Look it up yourself. She hung up. I'm guessing she looked it up. Then came the financial entitlement. See, Jessica and I had been planning a vacation. Cabo, next month. I'd paid for the whole thing. Flights, hotel, excursions. About $3,800 total. She was supposed to pay me back her half, but things were tight for her and I'd said no rush. Then I got a text. I know we're not together, but that vacation is non-refundable. We should still go, as friends. As friends, the absolute nerve. I typed back, already changed the reservation to single occupancy. Thanks for reminding me to cancel your ticket. You can't do that. I was going to pay you back. When? After your next secret meeting with Brandon? That's my vacation too. I need this trip. Then book your own. Cabo's not going anywhere. I can't afford it right now. Sounds like a you problem. She sent 18 more texts about how I was stealing her vacation. I didn't respond to any of them. But here's where it gets good. Her friend Megan decided to start a rumor that I'd been controlling and abusive, and that's why Jessica had to seek comfort elsewhere. She posted some vague garbage on social media about supporting friends leaving toxic relationships. Jessica reacted with a crying emoji. So, I did something petty, maybe too petty, but I was done with the high road. I posted the screenshot. The Find My iPhone map showing Jessica at Brandon's apartment. Timestamp clearly showing our anniversary dinner time. Caption, when you think she's at work, but Find My helps you find out where she really is. PSA, if you're going to cheat, turn off location sharing. The comments exploded. Mutual friends who'd been getting Jessica's version of events suddenly had questions. Lots of questions. Wait, she said she was at her mom's that night. Brandon? The ex-Brandon? Didn't his dad die years ago? Jessica called me and she was screaming. You posted our private business. You made it public when your friends started calling me abusive. Take it down. Turn off your location sharing first. Oh, wait, you finally did. Only took you 3 days to figure that out. You're ruining my reputation. No, Jessica. You ruined your reputation. I just provided receipts. The next morning, I woke up to find my car keyed. A deep, vicious scratch from front to back on the driver's side. I checked my security cam. Hooded figure. But I recognized those Nike sneakers. The hot pink ones I'd bought Jessica for her birthday. I filed a police report, showed them the footage. They said without seeing her face clearly it would be hard to prove, but they'd look into it. Then Jessica made her biggest mistake. She texted me. Hope you like your car's new paint job. That's what you get for humiliating me. I took a screenshot, sent it to the police. sent it to my insurance, sent it to my lawyer friend who said, "Keep that, trust me." The estimate for repairs came back at $2,400. My insurance would cover it, but I'd need to pay the deductible. So I did what any reasonable person would do. I filed small claims court paperwork, but first, one more thing happened. Brandon showed up at my apartment. Not Jessica, Brandon. "We need to talk," he said, trying to sound intimidating. "We really don't. You're harassing Jessica. I haven't contacted her once. She admitted to keying my car. She's fragile right now." "Fragile?" I repeated. "She did $2,000 in damage to my car. You posted about her online. After her friends called me abusive, it's called defending myself. Look, just leave her alone and we'll leave you alone." I raised an eyebrow. "We? Oh, so you're a we now? That's interesting. Tell me more about how nothing happened between you two." His face went red. "We're together now. Yeah. So what? You broke up with her." And there it was, the truth. Finally. How long were you two really talking before I found out? Doesn't matter now. It does for the small claims court case. Emotional distress, you know. Finding out my girlfriend was cheating, not just lying. You can't prove anything. I held up my phone, recording. "I can now. Thanks for confirming you're together. How long, Brandon? When did it actually start?" He realized his mistake. "You're recording me? One-party consent state. Completely legal, so how long?" He turned and left without another word. Jessica texted an hour later. "You recorded Brandon without consent? That's illegal. I'm calling the cops." I replied, "One-party consent state. Google it. See you in court." "Court?" "Small claims, car damage, plus emotional distress. Your boyfriend just admitted to the affair on camera. My lawyer says I have a solid case." Radio silence after that. The small claims court date came up 2 weeks later. Jessica showed up with Brandon. Big mistake bringing him. The judge did not like that at all. I presented everything. The security footage of someone in her distinctive shoes keying my car. Her text admitting to it. The repair estimate. Screenshots of her location at Brandon's during our anniversary. The recording of Brandon admitting they were together now. Text records showing the pattern of cancellations and lies. Jessica tried to argue that I'd emotionally abused her by posting her location online. The judge asked, "Did you lie about your whereabouts?" It was complicated. Yes or no? Were you at this man's apartment when you told the plaintiff you were elsewhere? Yes, but... And did you damage his vehicle? I was emotional. That's a yes, judgment for the plaintiff, $2,400 for vehicle damage, $600 for court costs and time off work. Jessica started crying. Brandon stood up. "This is... Sir, sit down or be removed," the judge warned. "She can't afford that. Then she shouldn't have damaged property." Outside the courthouse, Jessica approached me one last time. "Grant, please, I can't pay this. Payment plan's an option." "I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry for everything. I loved you." "No, Jessica. You loved having me as a safety net while you figured things out with Brandon. That's not true. Your location that night wasn't the first time you were there, was it?" She looked at the ground. "Yeah, that's what I thought." Brandon stepped forward. "Dude, you won. Just let it go." "I am letting it go. As soon as she pays what the court ordered. We're going to appeal." My lawyer friend, who'd come for moral support, actually laughed out loud. "On what grounds?" She admitted to the damage in writing. They left. Jessica paid the first installment a month later. $200 a month for the next 15 months. Last I heard through mutual friends, Jessica and Brandon moved in together after 2 months. She caught him texting his other ex 3 weeks later. They're still together, but working through trust issues. The irony is delicious. She tells people I was emotionally abusive and controlling. Most people who know the whole story don't buy it. Me? I got my car fixed, went to Cabo, solo, had an amazing time. Actually met some cool people, did all the excursions I wanted without compromise. Started dating again after a few months. The new woman I'm seeing thinks the flower delivery breakup was iconic. Her words. She also appreciated that I handled everything through proper legal channels instead of doing anything crazy. So what did I learn from all this? 1. Trust your gut when patterns change. 2. Location sharing works both ways. 3. Document everything. 4. Sometimes the best revenge is just letting someone live with their choices. And 5. Always get it in writing when someone admits to property damage. Oh, and Jessica still has 8 payments left. Every month when that money hits my account, I think about how she could have just been honest, could have just broken up with me like an adult, could have not keyed my car. But hey, something came up, right? The funniest part? I still get notifications sometimes. Jessica's payment of $200 has been received. Brandon's probably paying it. The ex she ran to now has to pay for the damage she did over him. Poetic justice, maybe. Expensive lesson for her, definitely. Worth it to find out who she really was before we moved in together? Absolutely. Sometimes the bullet dodges you. You just have to be smart enough to stay out of its way.